Hey guys, I'm Alfred Spot and welcome to week 1 in the third series of the Premier League review. Yes, we are finally back after the World Cup. The teams have done their summer business and now we are ready to play some football. I shouldn't do that. If you are new to this series, what we do is we take a look at the past set of Premier League results, we take a look at the Premier League table and we finish off by looking at the top goal scorers. So here is the past set of Premier League results. These games were played on Friday the 10th, Saturday the 11th and Sunday the 12th of August 2018. Also next to the games are their times in this video, so if you want to hear about a specific match, just go to the time next to the game and you'll skip out all the other crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. We kick the season off with Liverpool versus West Ham. Liverpool took the lead in the 20th minute when Mo Salah picked up where he left off last season. New boy Naby Keita started the move off as he drove forward before laying it off to Andy Robertson on the overlap. He drilled it across goal towards Salah, who tapped home from close range. And Liverpool doubled their lead with pretty much the final kick of the first half through Sadio Mane. Some of the worst defending I think we're going to see all season. A cross was floated in towards the back post. It looked like it was going out, but James Milner kept the ball alive, pulled it across goal where Sadio Mane prodded home. And through all of this, there was not a single West Ham shirt anywhere to be seen. From Milner's pullback to Mane shooting, the West Ham players just disappeared. And Liverpool got their third 10 minutes in the second half when Sadio Mane got his second of the game. Really lucky goal and should have been disallowed for offside. How the linesman or the ref didn't spot it is actually beyond me. But Roberto Firmino comes forward, ball takes a little nick off of a West Ham defender. That takes it into the path of Mane, who hits it first time on the turn and into the bottom corner. It was a great finish, but clearly offside. And Liverpool got their fourth in the 87th minute when Daniel Sturridge scored with his first touch of the game. He was on the pitch for about 20 seconds as a corner was whipped into the middle, flicked on at the near post, and there waiting for it at the back post was Sturridge, who poked home. And that's the game ended. Pretty perfect performance from Liverpool from defence to attack. Hardly anyone put a foot wrong. Naby Keita looks like he could be the best signing of the season. He was faultless in the middle, hardly putting a foot wrong. Alisson was never really challenged between the sticks as Van Dijk and Joe Gomez were on top of the attackers. West Ham were playing a weird offside trap, but I don't think they know how the offside rule works. They were trying to play people offside when they were behind the ball. It was just weird. Watch Mane's first goal. It was mental. Really bad defending. They tried to play him offside despite the fact that he was behind the ball. It was weird. But anyway, Liverpool got their season off to the perfect start, and despite a lot of changes on the pitch and in the backroom staff, West Ham still have some work to do. And we move on to Arsenal versus Manchester City. The reigning champions got off to a flying start when they took the lead in the 14th minute when Raheem Sterling got his 50th Premier League goal. They had been threatening and finally found the net when Sterling ran past Hector Bellerin, then gave past Matteo Guendouzi before placing his low shot into the bottom corner. And Man City doubled their lead in the 65th minute when Bernardo Silva got the goal. Far too easy for Man City as Benjamin Mendy burst down the left-hand side before cutting the ball back towards the penalty spot, and there, completely unmarked, was Bernardo Silva, and the former Monaco man drilled the first-time effort into the top corner. And that's how the game ended. Despite losing 2-0, there are some positives to take from this game for Arsenal. They didn't start Alexandre Lacazette, but when he came on for the final 20 minutes, him and Aubameyang were linking up well, and who knows what they can do with the full 90. It was a bad start results-wise for Unai Emery, and with another difficult trip next week taking on Chelsea, it could be quite the slow start for Arsenal. But as for Man City, though, picking up where they left off, being the better side, and they got their title defence off to a flyer. And we move on to Manchester United versus Leicester. The opening game of the season got off to a perfect start for Manchester United as only 2 minutes into the game they were awarded a penalty after Daniel Amati handballed it in the area. Paul Pogba stepped up to take it, and I was pretty nervous during his run-up. Well, I say run-up, he literally walked up, but the finish was sublime as he stroked into the top corner behind Kasper Schmeichel. And United doubled their lead in the 80th minute when Luke Shaw got his first ever goal in senior football. It was the best first touch I've ever seen. He didn't mean it, but Jesus Christ, was it good. One man I dinked it towards the back post towards Luke Shaw. It looked like he wanted to cross it across first time on the volley, but instead he mishit it, dinked it over his man, then ran onto it and volleyed it into the far corner. But Leicester got to go back in the 92nd minute when Jamie Vardy opened his account for the season. He didn't start the match, but made the biggest impact of the night. Ricardo Pereira with the ball in, and Vardy doesn't meet the initial cross, but the cross hits the post, comes back out to the striker, who heads home from close range. And as the game ended, Leicester unlucky enough to get anything from this game, as for the majority of the first half, they were the better side. Constant pressure, but they couldn't make the possession count in the first 45. United again sat extremely deep for most of the game and waited for the counter-attack, and it did work, but sometimes they just didn't go for the ball. Like, you can't counter-attack if you don't close the ball down and actually tackle. Leicester can count themselves a bit unlucky, but an unlikely goal scorer in Luke Shaw wrapped up the points for United. And we move on to Huddersfield versus Chelsea. Chelsea took the lead half an hour in when an unlikely goal scorer in N'Golo Kante got the goal. Very scruffy goal, as well as Willian's cross comes towards the World Cup winner and he really scuffs the shot into the ground, but the bounce took it over the keeper and into the far corner of the net. And Chelsea got the perfect chance to double their lead just before half-time when they were given a penalty. Christopher Schindler came in late on Willian and the ref pointed to the spot. And on his debut, Jorginho stepped up to take it, and as calm as you like, he strolls up, waits for the keeper to commit before rolling it into the opposite corner. And Chelsea put the game beyond any doubt in the 80th minute when Pedro made it 3-0. It all came from Eden Hazard, who was only on the pitch for a couple of minutes. He took it past 3 Huddersfield defenders before placing the ball for Pedro, who then dinked it into the bottom corner. And as the game ended, a dominant performance for Chelsea on Sarr's debut. Speaking of debuts, it was a dream start for Jorginho with him calmly slotting home the penalty. Chelsea started without Hazard, which could have raised some concerns, but it looked like they didn't need him. But even when he did come on, he was the best player on the pitch, despite only being on for about 20 minutes. Huddersfield were never really in it as Chelsea got their season off to the perfect start. And we move on to Wolves versus Everton. It was a great start to his Everton career for Richarlison, as 15 minutes into his debut he gave Everton the lead. It came from a free kick from the left hand side that Leighton Baines whipped in. Tons of players jumped for it, but it falls kindly to the feet of Richarlison, who prodded home from close range. But things would get a lot harder for Everton as they were reduced to 10 men in the 40th minute when their captain Phil Jagielka got sent off. It was a heavy touch from the centre-back that allowed Jota to nip in, but Jagielka lunged in trying to win the ball and he caught Jota right on the ankle. Dangerous play, endangering the opponent, denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity as Jagielka was the last man. It was the right decision. The foul was just outside the box and Wolves' highly rated playmaker Ruben Neves stepped up to take it, and instead of going over the wall, he went round it towards Jordan Pickford's sides, but there was nothing he could do as it flew into the top corner. But despite the man disadvantage, Everton retook the lead when Richarlison got his second of the game. Seng Tosun helped up the ball before prodding it through to Richarlison, who then curled it into the far corner of the net from the edge of the box. But Wolves yet again levelled the game up 10 minutes before time when Raul Jimenez got the goal. Ruben Neves is going to be a star. Perfect pinpoint cross from the left hand side right into the head of Jimenez, who planted his header into the bottom corner. And as the game ended, a decent result for both teams. Wolves will be happy knowing that they are the only promoted team to take a point in the opening weekend, and there were a lot of positives to take from this match. Everton played alright considering they played more than 45 minutes with 10 men. Ruben Neves looking exactly the same as he did in the Championship, and I can only see big things in his future. But for the first Premier League game at the Molineux since 2012, it ended all square. And we move on to Newcastle versus Tottenham. The game got off to a flying start as only 8 minutes into the match, Tottenham took the lead through Jan Vertonghen. It was a weird goal to concede as a cross came flying into the box. Davinson Sanchez wins the first header and Jan Vertonghen is there at the back post, who heads it towards goal. It was clawed away, but the Spurs player were adamant it went in, and after a few seconds the referee's watch went off and the goal was rightly given. But 3 minutes later Newcastle levelled it up through Hosselu. It was a lovely cross in the box by Matt Ritchie. Hosselu got in front of his man and glanced his header across goal and into the bottom corner. But Spurs retook the lead 5 minutes later when Dele Alli got his first of the season. Another great cross in this game. This one came from Serge Aurier. Lovely cross in. Ali timed his header well and nodded in at the back post. And as the game ended, Tottenham looked a bit shaky in this game despite being 2-1 up after the first 20 minutes. They did seem to struggle in the final third. Yet again, Harry Kane struggling in August, and he was pretty much a non-entity in this game. Plenty of positives for Newcastle though, but goals from Dele Alli and Jan Vertonghen's first in the Premier League get the win for Spurs. And we move on to Bournemouth versus Cardiff. Bournemouth took the lead against the promoted Welsh side in the 23rd minute when Ryan Fraser opened the scoring. It was a lovely move by the Cherries as Callum Wilson drove into the area, cut the ball back across goal for Fraser, who was completely unmarked and smashed home from close range. And Bournemouth got the perfect chance to double their lead 10 minutes later when they were awarded a very controversial penalty. Yet again, Callum Wilson causing the problems as he ran into the box. Him and Bruno Manga get into a tangle. Wilson goes down and the ref pointed to the spot. There was no real contact. I don't think Wilson was looking to dive. I just think he legitimately fell over. But you're not going to turn away a penalty, are you? Wilson stepped up to take it himself and he went towards the bottom left. But Neil Etheridge guessed the right way and pushed the ball behind. Justice served in the end, I guess. But Wilson would make up for the penalty miss as he wrapped the game up in injury time as he doubled Bournemouth's lead. Cardiff being their own worst enemy as they lost the ball down the right hand side. Simon Francis pulled it back for Callum Wilson, who finished first time. And as the game ended with Bournemouth picking up their first ever win on the opening day of a Premier League season. Fully deserved as well. Relegation favourites Cardiff were never really in it. No need to panic just yet for the Bluebirds. but they need to perform better than this if they want to prove the doubters wrong. Could have been more if Bournemouth finished the penalty, but they got what they deserved in the win. And we move on to Fulham versus Crystal Palace. Fulham were on top for most of the first half, but it was the visitors who took the lead against the run of play, and it was all a bit too easy for them as well. Fulham were willing to sit back and allow a bit of pressure, but they were punished as Patrick Van Aanholt rolled a pass into the area for Jeffrey Schlupp, who turned his man with ease before rifling his shot in at the near post. And Palace doubled their lead 10 minutes from time when the prodigal son of Palace, Wilfried Zaha, got the goal. Palace fullback Aaron Wan-Bissaka was fouled but took the advantage well as he retrieved the ball, played in Zaha, and the forward coolly rounds the keeper and finished into the open net. And as the game ended, a superb start to the season for Palace, who make sure that their start from last season wasn't recreated. Palace goalkeeper Wayne Hennessy was my man of the match in this game. He made some great saves to keep his side ahead. Fulham can hold their head high, especially in the first half, but you feel like they could have really done with a win here to get the confidence going. But goals from Schlupp and Zaha gave Palace the win. And we move on to Watford versus Brighton. Watford took the lead in the 35th minute when Roberto Pereira scored a belter. Came from a corner on the left-hand side. It drifted onto the edge of the box where the midfielder was waiting. He struck a crisp volley. Matt Ryan did get a hand to it, but he couldn't keep it out as it flies in. And Watford doubled their lead 10 minutes in the second half when Roberto Pereira got his second of the game. Not as good as the first, but it was almost gifted to him by Brighton, who gave the ball away on the left-hand side, and the Argentine just ran. He charged into the box before curling the ball past Matty Ryan. And that's how the game ended. Brighton were very poor in this match. They set up a bit negative, and because of this, they didn't create any chances. Roberto Pereira was sublime in this game, though, just running the show, grabbing himself 2 goals whilst he was at it, and Watford picked up the much-deserved win. Finally, we've got Southampton versus Burnley. Lots and lots of shots in this game, but neither team were able to find the net. Burnley were the better side in the first half, and I'd say Southampton were on top for the second. But how Burnley didn't score in the first half is beyond me. McCarthy in the Southampton net was on fine form, and he made sure that his team came away with a point. But in the second half, Joe Hart, on his Burnley debut, making some great saves. Maybe Joe Hart is good. Maybe it was just a fluke. Who knows? I'm going to go with the second option. I still don't rate Joe Hart. We'll see by the end of the season if I regret that. Still don't rate him. But it finished all square between Southampton and Burnley. Right, so that's all I've got for you this week. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers, starting off with the Premier League table. Down to top 5, and as you can see, Liverpool are on top after recording their best opening day result at Anfield in 80 years. Chelsea is second after dispatching of Huddersfield. Bournemouth are third after a solid result at Cardiff. Palace are fourth after beating Fulham, and Manchester City make up the top 5 after beating Arsenal. Moving on to the bottom 5 though, and West Ham are on the bottom after being bummed by Liverpool. Huddersfield are 19th after losing to Chelsea. Fulham make up the relegation zone after losing to Palace. Cardiff are 17th after losing to Bournemouth, and Brighton make up the bottom 5 after they lost to Watford. Moving on to the top goal scorers, Sadio Mane, Richarlison and Roberto Pereira are all joint first after they all recorded 2 goals in their opening games, and Callum Wilson and Ruben Neves make up top 5 after they both got a goal and an assist in the opening weekend. Right, so that's all I've got for you this week. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be back at 4 PM next Tuesday for the next episode of the Premier League review. So we're finally back, and the first episode is in the bag, and the streaming should be back as well. We took a bit of a break after the World Cup for 2 reasons: to rest up for the season, and because there was no real football on apart from pre-season friendlies that no one really cares about. But hopefully now we will aim to have at least 1 stream a week every game week. So this week we streamed Liverpool West Ham and also Man City Arsenal. And we'll try and stream some other games apart from Liverpool Arsenal. Obviously I'm a Liverpool fan, Jack's an Arsenal fan, but we'll try and stream other games if they're, if there's interesting ones there. To stay up to date though about when we go live, it would be best to follow us on Twitter. The link to that is in the description, or it's at portionofsport_. If you missed any of our streams in the World Cup and you've got a couple of hours free, the playlist to that will be popping onto your screen now, along with a link to the channel so you can subscribe. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. I've been Mark from A Portion of Sport, and I will see you soon.